Today, we're going to talk about meal etiquette and how you can prepare when a company wants to take you out for lunch or dinner as part of an interview. So, meal interviews are actually very common in the business world. Keep in mind that a lot of the positions that you would be interviewing for may ultimately lead to jobs that require you to take clients out for lunch, dinner, or for various meals. So, your professionalism and the way that you conduct yourself in a meal setting is very important as it relates to being a good fit for certain positions. Keep in mind that interviews are your opportunity to share more about yourself and to showcase some of your skills and abilities and the things that you've worked very hard on to see if they may be a good fit for a particular company. Today, we're going to talk about a series of items for you to take into consideration when you're preparing for an interview that takes place over a meal. The first is professional dress. So, just like in a traditional interview, you always want to dress to impress. So, business professional dress should always be your default in an interview setting, including interviews that take place over a meal. Next, we're going to go through a couple do's and don'ts for things you want to make sure that you're aware of during the meal portion. So, first, you want to make sure that you don't begin eating first. As a general rule, when you're seated at a table, you follow your host. And you want to make sure that you don't begin eating until everyone at the table has been served. So, once everyone has received their food, then it's going to be appropriate for you to go ahead and start eating. You also want to keep in mind this is not an all you can eat opportunity. First and foremost, this is an interview. So you want to stay focused on the interview and focus more on that than you do on the food that's in front of you. Next, when you're selecting what to order from the menu, you want to go with something simple, meaning you want to avoid messy foods. Don't get something that you have to eat with your hands or that's going to make your hands real greasy. Instead, order something that's simple to eat, maybe a salad or a chicken dish. And again, remember that it's not about the food. It's also very possible that you may be in an interview setting, either a happy hour type of interview. Sometimes these take place before more formal, like dinner type interviews, or sometimes companies just have happy hour events that they invite you to attend as part of the recruitment process. So it's very important that if you attend one of these events and alcohol is being served, that you drink responsibly. So you want to make sure that you maintain your professional credibility. First and foremost, if you're not 21, do not partake at all in the alcohol. And second, if you feel comfortable and you want to have one drink, that would be the most that I would suggest. I would not consider this an open bar. Do not take this as an opportunity to drink as much as you want because it's being paid for from someone else. Remember, this is a professional event and an interview first and foremost. So even if you're in a more casual type of an environment, if you're there because a company is providing, has invited you to come, it's still an interview. Whether it's a formal interview or not, they're still evaluating you to see if you'll be a good fit for their firm. So please keep that in mind and be very responsible. I would recommend if you want to order one drink and kind of hold on to that drink throughout the evening, that may be a good way to approach this. If you don't want to order a drink, then don't do that at all. But absolutely make sure that you avoid drinking in excess in an interview type setting or in any sort of company sponsored type of event. Okay, so cell phones. When you're in an interview setting, you want to make sure that your phone is completely put away. So make sure it does not come out of your pocket or out of your purse the entire time. Make sure that it is on silent or completely turned off before you go in for the interview. Keep in mind, a lot of people have different views about cell phones, and to some interviewers, it can be perceived as very rude or very disrespectful if you have your phone out. So if you're wondering, what do you do if you have some sort of an emergency situation? If that's the case, you just politely excuse yourself from the table, take your purse or your phone that's in your pocket with you. After you're away from the table, maybe step outside of the restaurant, then you can pull your phone out and take care of something if you need to. But for the most part, you want to keep your cell phone put away. So the purpose of this is not for you to be on your device. The purpose of this interview is so that you can engage in conversation and so that you can get to know the interviewer. And you always want to make sure that you follow up your interview with a thank you. So after the interview, take some notes about the things that you discussed during the interview. Make sure you write down who it is that you interviewed with and what it is that you discussed, because you'll need all of this information to send your follow-up thank you emails. You always want to send a thank you email within 24 hours of your interview, and you send a separate email to everyone that interviewed you. So if you met with 3 different people during your interview process, you should be sending 3 completely separate, different emails to each of those individuals. You want to make sure that you mention something specific that you discussed with them during your time together throughout the interview process. And if you complete all of those, and follow those steps, this is going to be you when you hopefully are able to accept that job offer. You can then take a little bit of time to relax and reset. Good luck.